welcome to Saxon Math, Lesson 98, Geometric Solids. For our lesson today, you're going to need your math book, open to page 618, a piece of paper, and a pencil. Make sure on your paper, on the right-hand side, you are going to write your name in cursive, the lesson number, and the date, April 1st, 2020. Let's get started. So when we're talking about geometric solids, we hear the word geometry, and geometry has to do with shapes. We've spoken about different shapes before. We've talked about triangles, rectangles, circles. Those are all two-dimensional shapes. They're all flat. Today, we are going to talk about geometric solids. They are three-dimensional and that they have depth. The ones that we're going to focus on today are right in front of us here. I put together, and my kids helped me, and we put together some of the shapes that we're going to be studying today. The first shape that we're going to be talking about is a cube. The next shape is a rectangular prism. They suggested a shoebox, but I found an envelope box. I thought that would work too. Our next shape is a triangular prism. Notice the flat bottom. Another shape we have is a pyramid, a cylinder, my favorite, a sphere, and then finally a cone. So we are going to be studying some of those shapes. I would like you to turn to page 620 because now we're going to talk about some of the terms that have to do with geometric solids. These are terms that are going to be asked for you throughout the Saxon Math book, and we want to make sure that you understand what these terms mean. So I'm going to use the rectangular prism to kind of walk us through these different terms to help us understand what they are. First of all, we want to take a look at the word face. Now, when we're talking about a face with us, we obviously know it's this. When we're talking about a face with a geometric solid, that is a flat surface of a solid. So see how this is flat, these are all considered faces. Next is edge. That is where two faces meet. So this is a face, this is a face. They meet here at the edge. This would also be considered an edge. Our next term is vertex, and that is where three or more edges meet. So remember, we determined that this is an edge. So if this is an edge, and this is an edge, and this is an edge, this would be the vertex. You can also think of it as a corner. Okay, so that's what it would be. One other thing I want you to think about, and that's also going to come up in our lesson today, is they're going to refer to the plural of vertex. Now, we would think, oh, one vertex, two vertexes. No, the plural of vertex is vertices. And you're going to see that today. So when they mention the word, or you see the word vertices, that just means more than one vertex. The next word that we're going to take a look at is base. Base is the bottom face of the shape, so what it's resting on. This face that's resting on the palm of my hand is the base. The next term, and our final term that we're going to talk about, is apex. When you take a look at this geometric solid, a cone, it has a curved surface, but it also has a circular base. The point where everything meets up at the top, and that's the pointed end of the cone, that is called the apex. All right, so we're going to use this to help us out a little bit. We're looking at example 3 on page 620. It asks, how many faces does a box have? Well, we're going to use this as our box example. So if we take a look, remember, face are the flat surfaces. One, then we think of the top of the bottom, 1, 2, and then we can go around the outside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 faces, right? So the next, it asks, how many vertices does a box have? Well, now we know that where the 3 or more edges meet, in other words, the corners. And remember, I reminded you, vertices is plural vertex. So we take a look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 on the other side, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it has 8 vertices. Then it talks about edges, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then we do the other side, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 11 and 12. All right, so I would like for you to take a look at page 621, and now we're going to work through the lesson practice starting on letter A. So in problems A through D, name the shape of the object listed. So I'm going to work through these with you, and it asks for letter A basketball. All right, so we had a basketball. So we're going to take a look back. I'm not going to show you where it was labeled, so I want you to figure it out. So if we take a look back at 619, obviously we see that the shape that matches with the basketball would be sphere. So for letter A, I would write the word sphere. Please be sure that you spell that correctly because it is on that chart right in front of you. The next, we have B, a shoebox. I don't have a shoebox, but I have something very similar to that. That would be this. Now, if I take a look at that chart in 619, it says rectangular prism or rectangular solid. You can write either one, that's fine. I'm going to write down rectangular prism. Okay, moving on to letter C, a funnel. As we look back, cone. D, a soda can. Well, it looks very similar to our soup can. Cylinder. Again, make sure that you check your spelling with these. All right, so letter E. The figure at the right is the same shape as several Egyptian landmarks. What is the shape? Hopefully this will not fall apart. All right. It looks like this. It has this, whoa, it has the square base. And if we take a look on page 619, that looks like our pyramid. So for E, and then F, the figure in problem E has a square base. So that's it. How many faces does the figure have? Okay, so let's take a look. So this is phase 1. That's the base, 1. Then we go 2, 3, 4, 5. So for F, it has 5 faces. Then it asks, how many edges? So we want to count our corners. We would say 1, 2, 3, 4 for the square, and then our apex, 5. Of course, that would be the top of a cone, but we could say where everything meets is right here. So that'd actually be the vertex. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. That would be your 5 vertices. Sorry, I'm going to skip ahead to that last one. And then let's go back to edges. So I jumped ahead. We counted vertices. It's okay if it's a little out of order as long as we get the answer right. So then we want to take a look at how many edges. Let's do that right now. Well, we know on the bottom it has 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we start counting. 5, 6, 7, and 8. And that has 8 edges. So 4th grade, what you need to do for tomorrow, you need to complete pages 621 to 623 numbers 1 through 30. I hope that this helped you understand geometric solids a little bit more and helped you understand some of the terms that go with it. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.